What is going on? So, going to do a review of the first ever Entheos headlining tour supported by Fallujah, the Zenith Passage, Tracheotomy, and local opener was Leylines. Entheos was a band that was like, man, I want to see them kind of in the spotlight because there are those bands where you're like, oh, this sounds good, or maybe you see some of their footage or something. But then it's like there's more pressure and opportunity. They just kind of fall short. And it's not just bands, right? It's everybody in all fields. But since we're talking about bands, so Entheos was like, I feel like these guys have some promise. They do a few things that are a little bit different, unorthodox in some of their music. And I really wanted to see them kind of step up. So I was pumped about this. I've seen Fallujah before, really good group. Wanted to see them in kind of, I think I saw them 4 years ago. So I wanted to see them kind of more recently. Zenith Passage, is one of those things where a lot of people like them. And I just never took the time to get into them. So I didn't know their music at all. Tracheotomy, I've seen them once before. And they're really cool, like brutal death, brutal slam kind of stuff. And Leylines I knew nothing about. So Leylines came on, and this was at No Fun in Albany, which I love the venue, but sometimes you got to stand in exactly the right spots if you're going to be up front. Otherwise, the audio, and like if you check out any of the clips I have, the audio, like especially the vocals, is just really, really hard to hear. So, but Leylines came on and they were kind of deathcore-ish, and it felt a little too ambitious, a little unorganized in that way. So, not that I like deathcore anyway, but okay, that sounded like a dick thing. Not that I'm into deathcore for the most part, but this type of thing just wasn't for me. Guys came out, they had good energy, and the crowd really liked them. But for me, it was just too kind of unorganized in that overly ambitious way. So, but it's always good to see somebody new, and I love seeing a tour like this. Even just it was already 4 bands to have a 5th local opener. That was really cool of them to add on. It was either sold out or I think it was nearly sold out. So it's it was nice to kind of see a few extra people there just for Leylines. But anyway, Tracheotomy came on and they did what I was hoping they'd do. They came on, had good energy, youthful energy, brutal, slammy, just getting the work done. So I couldn't see if there was a pick going or not. It felt like there probably was. I felt a lot of rumbling behind me, but nothing crazy. So either way, Tracheotomy, I would love to see those guys do a tour with like Tribal Gaze and another kind of young band that, maybe somebody like Jarhead Fertilizer. Yeah, something like that would be just terrific. So go see Tracheotomy if you get a chance. So the Zenith Passage, oh my God, Zenith Passage. The Zenith Passage. They were up next, and again, I didn't know anything about them, and I think I've listened to maybe one of their songs, and it sounded a little bit like it was going to be too much tech for me, maybe even a little proggy at parts for me, but I tell you what, those guys came on, and their set was probably one of the best sets I've seen this year, definitely like a top 20. Haven't been to as many shows this year as the last few, but so they did great, and it was a good combination of energy and musicianship. It was definitely much more of the musicianship. Not a lot of movement from these guys, but they had some pretty technical stuff going on. So can't blame them. But the Zenith Passage did really well. So I would definitely catch those as it goes. I can't speak tonight. I blame you. I would definitely catch those guys again. And if you haven't seen them, give them a chance, because you will not be disappointed, presumably. Fallujah was up next, and man, these guys are just a really talented band. They're really cohesive. They have a lot of really ambitious parts that they were able to execute well. They also had one of the like most beautiful T-shirt designs, but they only had it in a small, so I didn't get it. But they had it was just an outstanding shirt design. But yeah, so Fallujah, if you haven't seen them yet, they're a band I'm a little bit confused why they aren't bigger. I don't know. I don't know. But they have some new music out recently, so they did really good. I don't know. I don't know how to describe them really. Let's see what the interwebs has to say. See, it says like tech death metal band. I mean, they're definitely death metal, but they have some clean parts too. Now, see, this one says atmospheric death metal. See, we're out of our minds with these genres. Anyway, they're very modern death metal with some techie parts, some clean stuff, some ambiance, and they're really good. So go see them. And last but definitely not least was Entheos, and they did really good. And the crowd definitely, right, there was a bit of stage diving, a bit of moshing, and the crowd was really there to support them. And like you could feel that members of the audience really wanted to see Entheos. So that was a really cool thing. And Entheos did great. I think the vocalist, I think that the venue didn't do her vocals any favors. She was just really hard to hear, and she has a lot of different ranges. And so I would really like to see them again in a different venue. But it was cool to see them, and I feel like they're ready for their next step, right? If they're like, this is their first headlining tour. I think we were near the end of it, like the last third of it. But definitely they're in a position where I think that they can either make or break themselves with what comes next. So I'll be really interested to see that. And yeah, the whole night was a good night. It was a good show, really solid. Something, if I was going to rate it out of 10, like if you're like, oh, there's a few shows left that's come by my town, should I go see them? I would say, yeah, go see them. Definitely not an expensive tour. If you like Zenith Passage, they had some terrific, like, giant mouse pads. So if you need one of those, definitely get one of those. And yeah, really, really good. Some of these bands have been around for a while now. 10, 15 years, something like that. But I still feel like overall it's kind of like some of the new faces of music in a way, which I know there's a lot of range in that statement, but I think that these bands can really be a piece of things that are coming next. So got some links to their playlist down below. Go see them. Yeah, have a blast. Go dance.